The Shield says, 1987 Mercedes 300 SDL turbo diesel. Any advice? Now, those things could run forever, right? They had a 5-cylinder turbo diesel. Those engines could run 1,000,000 miles or more, right? And they had old-fashioned mechanical fuel injection, not this modern computerized crap with all the sensors and that stuff. Very simple to work on. Of course, the problem is it's an 87. It's 39 years old, right? That's an old vehicle. Don't overpay. I mean, if you get it as a toy, you want to mess around with it. But everyday transportation, you can't be stretching and get in the car. All the rubber seals will go. You got to pull the engine out, transmission to change certain. It's old, right? But, I mean, if you can get a toy cheap, what the heck? Robert says, what kind of welder you use on a catalytic converter? Well, catalytic converters get really hot anyway, so nothing really bothers them. Most guys, they'll use a MIG welder, because the MIG welders do pretty neat stuff. I mean, if you're good with the stick welder, you could do a stick weld to weld it on, but it's pretty strong steel. The main problem you're going to have is you're putting a catalytic converter on pipes, right? If those pipes are old and rotten, forget stick welding, it'll burn them right up. You'd have to use like MIG welding or TIG welding to do that, because the old pipes are probably rusted and they're probably thin, and if you use a stick welder, it'll burn them. Scotty, what do you think of the sodium-ion battery technology? Looks promising and interesting to me. Yeah, I mean, Cattle, the big Chinese company, not the cows, but the big Chinese company, they say that they're going to be making gigawatts of these things by the end of this year of sodium-ion batteries. Now, they're starting out big time, though, with storage. Storing electricity in big buildings for wind and solar, right? Because their size and weight doesn't really mean anything. Now, they're probably going to have them in cars, and of course, sodium, salt, is a lot cheaper than lithium, so it's cheaper to make. Now, they have less energy density and this and that, but they claim they're working on that. But like many claims, my personal opinion is don't buy on the claims, buy on the proof. If they start making them, see what happens after 4 or 5 years. Maybe they work. Maybe they all break. I've hit a bunch of Chinese motorcycles after 3 or 4 years. Their battery packs go bad. The battery packs cost about what the bike costs. So always keep that in mind. The technology for batteries is rapidly evolving, and nobody knows who's going to win. Arpel says, Scotty, what's your opinions about 2013 Impala with the 3.6 V6? I'm not a Chevy fan. I'm not an Impala fan. They no longer make them. I learned how to drive on an Impala, but that was back in 1966, and it was a 62 Impala. It was a good car, strong, ran, big V8 engine, right? Now, you got it, take care of it, change the oil and filter every 5,000 miles, change the coolant once every 4 or 5 years, take care of the vehicle. You never know. You're not putting that many miles on it. It's 13 years old, and you only got 85,000 miles, so it might last quite some time. But baby it. Don't jackrabbit stops, burn out and stuff, because the transmission will burn out. That is the weakest point of that car. William Franklin says, after 2020 Hyundai Palisade versus Toyota 4Runner, who wins in reliability? Well, the Toyota 4Runner is much more reliable. Now, the problem is, I just checked out a brand new 4Runner, but it was a hybrid, 4Runners with V6 engines could run forever. Now, the only thing they're selling in the United States are 4Runners with 4-cylinder turbo engines. Or if you can get a hybrid, get the hybrid, because the hybrid isn't a turbocharged engine, right? And the Toyota hybrid engines last a long time. They're well-made systems, but I don't like the 4-cylinder turbocharged engine they're putting in. But if you're talking about 2020, you could get a regular Force V6 Highlander, and I've seen those things with 1 million miles on. I mean, the RAV4. I've seen them with 1 million miles. I've seen RAV4s, and 4Runners with 1 million miles too. So, I mean, they were well made. I don't know why they got to start throwing turbos in them. Jerry Mattis says, Scotty, what are your thoughts on the 2027 Highlander being an electric vehicle only? Okay, now, Toyota is playing the electric car market, slowly bringing them out, right? So, the 2027 Highlander is only an electric vehicle. As it stands today, it's only a 4-cylinder turbo, and I don't like that, so I wouldn't buy one, right? I wouldn't buy an electric car either, but As far as I'm concerned, let Toyota make electric vehicles. Maybe they'll perfect them. And this is a 2027, right? Maybe they'll perfect them. Maybe 2037, I'll buy an electric Toyota. Who knows, you know? Who knows what the future will bring? But let's face the facts. They're not going to sell millions of them, right? They're testing the waters. And Toyota has so many vehicles like the Highlander. You know, they got so many different SUVs out there. What's in a name? They're all basically got the same internals in them anyways. The process, Scotty, I got a Corolla Hybrid 1.8 liter. I have one with 10,000 miles. I want to put 300K. Any issues I should be aware of? They really don't have issues. Change the oil and filter regardless of the crap they try to tell you. Every 5,000 miles of pure synthetic oil and a pure synthetic oil filter, okay? Now, don't go in deep water because you don't want to ruin the hybrid system. That says it is a Corolla hybrid and the hybrid battery is inside the car. If you were driving an electric car or a plug-in hybrid, they have bigger batteries. They're in the bottom of the car. Bottom of the car gets covered with water. They get covered with water. Goodbye. That's one of the reasons the insurance rates on electric cars and plug-in hybrids is higher than regular cars, because those batteries can be destroyed very easily. Not just water, it's the bottom of the car. You hit a big bump, you can dent them, knock a hole, and short them out. But what you got, a regular Corolla hybrid, those things can last. Just do like any other car. Take care of the thing. And stay away from deep water. No Sleep 903 says, I got a 22 Tacoma with 45,000 miles. It got driven with 1.5 quarts of oil low. Dealership added 1.5 quarts and called it good. Should I trust it? Okay, now, 1.5 quarts low isn't going to damage your car. Your car has a lot more oil than that, and it's still pumping. The bottom sump didn't go dry. Now, if you would only had 1.5 quarts left, it could have done some damage because it wouldn't pump enough. It would suck air, and you'd have dry metal parts on metal parts with no oil lubricating them. But no. But why it wasn't low? Did you not change it enough? You know, and then you change it every 5,000 miles. You shouldn't use any oil in a Tacoma. I've seen them with 500,000 miles, and they still don't burn oil if the oil is changed regularly. Scotty, just a follow-up. So would the police cars burn a lot of oil given they're thrashed from cold almost every day, especially with turbos? Well, they could, yes, theoretically. But normally they don't because they never make it that far. For engine to burn oil, it takes many, many, many miles. Say 80, 90,000 miles. Usually the police cars are wrecked in a junkyard by then. So they don't get them that far. They don't drive them that far. If they're police chase cars and stuff like that. I mean, the police that are detectives, now it's another story. A lot of times they're on stakeouts. They're just sitting in the car. They're not chasing after people, you know. And those can be decent cars to buy used. But their regular pursuit cars, they don't get that many miles on them because they usually get destroyed in wrecks. Scotty, my friend, has a Honda Odyssey 05. Still has the original engine and tranny. It has over 300,000 miles, going strong. How did it last that long? If he took care of it, and how did he drive it? See, here's the thing. Highway mileage is like 15 to 20% of city stop-and-go traffic. So if you drive 100,000 miles on a highway, that's like driving 15 or 20,000 miles in stop-and-go traffic. So there's so much less wear on the vehicle. I have seen many Hondas of all sorts have over 300,000 miles, and every single one of them spent most of its life on a highway going at highway speeds. And that's how they last so long. Even a crappy, Chrysler, if you drove it on the highway at 60 a lot, is going to wear out a lot slower because it's not stopping and going and shifting gears. It's just cruising down the line.